Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio by technical producer Jonathan Voico.
Good morning, everybody.
And, of course, most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. And here's how our show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a few predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, that's when we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, question, or an issue you'd like us to discuss, go ahead and fire it on to our tip link at www.streamelements.com/John-Campea/tip. And here's the good news about that tip link. It's actually good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you happen to be listening to this show on our audio podcast feed, either on Apple Podcast or Spotify or your favorite podcasting app of choice, or if you're watching this show a little bit later in the day, you can still send in a question. And if you send one in when we're not live, well, we'll just get around to answering it on the next episode. Also, want to do the little bit of housekeeping here, keep you guys updated with what's going on with our movie meetups. Of course, they start continuing again in a couple of days. Here's the existing current movie meetup schedule. Now, again, a movie meetup is simply I tell you where and when I'm going to go see a movie, and then you are welcome to go to the movie theater, buy tickets to that same movie, and then I'll just hang out in front of the movie theater for like an hour afterwards and meet people, talk a little movies, take some pictures, whatever. We did them in Phoenix and in San Diego, had a great time. So here are the upcoming dates again. This Thursday, September the 11th in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the Regal Winrock for the 6:30 p.m. screening of The Thing. Friday, September 12th, that's this Friday, in the Denver area at the AMC Highlands Ranch 24 for The Long Walk at 7:40. Saturday, September 13th in Salt Lake City at the Megaplex Gateway for a 6:40 p.m. screening of The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Sunday, September 14th, we're going to be in Las Vegas at the AMC Town Square for a 7:10 p.m. screening of The Long Walk. Then the following week, on Friday, September 19th, we're going to be in the San Francisco area at the Regal Hacienda IMAX in Dublin for a 7:15 p.m. screening of Psycho. I cannot wait. I've never seen that on the big screen before. Also, then on Sunday, September the 21st, we're going to be in Portland at the Regal Evergreen Parkway for the 6:40 p.m. screening of Him. And then on Monday, September 22nd, we're going to be in the Seattle area at the AMC Kent Station for a 7 p.m. screening of Howl's Moving Castle. Again, a movie I've never seen on the big screen. So I'm pretty excited about that. And yes, there are more movie meetup dates coming. We will be going further east. We will be doing Texas, and we will be doing Florida, and we will be doing Indiana, and we will be doing probably the Carolinas, and we'll probably be doing New York State and like all that kind of stuff. Just keep your guys' eyes open for upcoming date announcements. But I'm looking forward to meeting all you guys who will be at any of those screenings that we just listed. All right. With all that down, guys, let's get things started here, shall we? And we're going to start off with this. Jonathan, I swear to God, if you can find me even 5 or 6 shows in the last 8 years that we've done where somebody hasn't written in to ask, where is the Last Witch Hunter sequel? I'll give you $1 million.
You're not implying that we're getting a sequel, are you? Because if so, I am stoked.
That is exactly what's happening.
Yes!
Get excited because according to a report in Deadline, the absolute worst Vin Diesel movie, and I love my boy Vin, everybody knows that, but the absolute worst Vin Diesel movie. Finally, Lionsgate has heard the cries of the people saying, give us a Last Witch Hunter sequel. Well, your prayers have been answered. It's coming. And get this. One of the really good things coming out of this, the great Michael Caine at age 92 is coming out of retirement for this thing.
If you had asked me which film in the history of Michael Caine's illustrious career,
and he would come out of retirement.
What is he coming back for, baby? It is The Last Witch Hunter 2.
I mean, obviously for the Last Witch Hunter, right? None of those other all-time classics. I mean, it's gonna only be. I'm waiting for Vin to call I got every other number on my phone, says Michael K, blocked except for Vin Diesel's.
What's crazy about this movie is that it really was it was a good cast. I mean, Elijah Wood was actually pretty good in it. Well, he's good in everything. But I mean,
it was a very good cast. Yeah. I like the trailers, other than that stupid song they used. Other than that, I like the trailers. I'm a Vin Diesel fan. I love the whole fantasy genre and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, what? Now, if some of you are thinking, wait a minute, was that film not ass? Yeah. Yeah, that is the film school terminology for it. That film was ass. As a matter of fact, if we go over and take a look at Rotten Tomatoes, 18%. 18%.
So it had some likes.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody hated it. Some people were high.
That must have been like 15 out of those. 15
some people did some pre-gaming before going to see it, and it got 18%. I mean, this movie was really bad. And I say this as a card-carrying holder of the Lifetime Vin Diesel fan club. This movie was really bad. And the audience score, 44%. It was just utterly terrible. However, a little while ago, something really interesting happened.
Someone's got some gambling debts?
And maybe. But, The Last Witch Hunter's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like in this report here, it like got onto the top 10 streaming movies list on Netflix. Now, I don't know if that was ironically. I don't know if it was like, I don't know, somebody at Netflix just say, let's see if we start putting this movie, this terrible movie, in our recommendations list, will people just start clicking and watching it anyway? But for whatever the reason, it climbed onto the top 10 chart on Netflix 10 years after the fact. And so the folks over at Lionsgate thought, well, everybody must want a sequel.
It worked for Morbius.
It worked for Morbius. I mean, Sony sat back and said, look at all the social media discussion going on about Morbius. They must want it back in theaters. So they re-released it. And of course, nobody saw it. Now listen, let me be very, very clear. For those of you who don't know, I actually really like Lionsgate. I have liked it. They have been kind of like one of my low-key favorite studios almost as long as I've been doing this as a career. I really like the leadership there. I really like the company. There's a lot of the films that they've put out that nobody else ever would have put out that I actually end up really liking. And, sometimes they're the guys that really sneakily seem to know what's up before a lot of other people do. And so I always want to give Lionsgate the benefit of the doubt. But what the hell? Like, what? Yes, I have a question. Yes. What the hell? I have a follow-up question. How dare you?
Unless the Baba Yaga makes an appearance in this movie, exactly. I don't really know.
A John Wick shows up to fight alongside, like Vin Diesel is, I need to call in family for this witch. And then they bring in John Wick, who, I don't know, back in the day, the immortal witch hunter raised John Wick as a child. And then, okay, yeah, maybe then someone's going to go see it. I don't get it. Now, for any of you who are wondering, well, surely the first movie must have made a big bunch of money. I think the first one made around $120 million total worldwide. Jonathan, you can fact check me on that.
Yeah.
In other words,
146 worldwide.
Okay, I shortchanged it.
Yeah, almost
146. In other words, nobody went to go see it. And
27 domestically, so nothing domestically.
Yeah, and listen, as somebody who's been doing this for a long time, I can tell you with some certainty, as somebody who gets thousands of messages a day via my social media, our comments, direct messages, all that kind of stuff from film fans for a long, long time, I cannot recall once anybody asking me, hey, John, where's that Last Witch Hunter sequel? I don't know. Then again, we live in a world where Jamie Foxx came back to play Electro again. And that movie turned out pretty well. And none of us saw that coming. None of us thought it was a good idea for Jamie Foxx to come back. I mean, we love Jamie Foxx, but that was one he probably would want to forget.
Yeah.
And we never thought that was possible. He came back as Electro, and guess what? That movie turned out pretty well. For all we know, they've got a dynamite script. They got a killer take. I don't know. Denis Villeneuve is he's lined up to direct it, for all I know. And this is going to be like the movie of a generation. The movie of a generation. What Wizard of Oz has been for the last 4 generations, The Last Witch Hunter 2, that's the next one. That's the next Citizen Kane.
Look, man. I'm sure Thomas Edison got laughed out of the room when he said, the light bulb, a bulb which will glow in your room. This could be the next machination that changes the world.
This could be Vin Diesel's magnum opus.
This could be the movie that was promised.
It could be.
And deliver us from all that is bad.
I don't know, man. Listen, again, I love Lionsgate. I love these guys, and quite often I find them to be amongst the smartest guys in the room.
That's why we're begging them to stop.
Yeah, like, what, guys? What are you doing? But again, maybe we're gonna find out the last laugh. They'll get it, and it'll be on us, and maybe it'll be great. Maybe you'll make a ton of money. I don't know, but file this one under the head scratcher.
The only thing I can think of, because maybe I missed it in the article, but maybe Netflix made them an offer to just make it a straight to Netflix thing, and they're like, hey, we can cash in on this.
You know what? That makes the most logical sense. If Netflix,
because then I would say do it.
If Netflix gave them a call, and none of that is in the story, but if Netflix gave them a call and said, hey, yo, look, I mean, this thing just suddenly popped up in our top 10. What would you guys think about making another one? I mean, I don't think Netflix is going to put up a ton of money for it.
No.
But, I mean, I don't think Vin Diesel is commanding the same paycheck he was 7 years ago. Michael Caine, I don't know. You offered him something that got him to come out of retirement.
Right.
Again, look, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Whatever it is that's going to give me, as a film fan, as a lifelong film fan, one more shot to see Michael Caine on the big screen again, I'm just going to say thank you, sir. I'm just going to say thank you. So, I mean, the fact that you're doing it for The Last Witch Hunter 2 is confusing, but I'll take it. So anyway, we'll see.
I'm going to catch it in the Sphere.
Well, that's a nice segue, which we'll get to in a second. Guys, for now, the question is for you. What do you think about this? They're going to put real live money into making a Last Witch Hunter 2. I mean, if nothing else, it's going to get Michael Caine acting again, which I think is great. But I don't know. Do you think this could be one of those sleeper things that just sneaks up on us? Or are you like me, where you're just scratching your head and saying, what is the logic behind this? Anyway, whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, I was just mentioning that the last movie meetup that we're doing on this immediate trip before next week is going to be in Las Vegas. And Ann and I have decided that movie screening we're doing in Las Vegas, the meetup is on a Sunday night. Ann and I have decided to stay one more night in Las Vegas because on Monday, we're going to go to the Sphere in Las Vegas, which I've been to the Sphere once before. Ann dragged me along to go see the Backstreet Boys concert. You know what? I got to say, it was actually a really good show. But they're playing The Wizard of Oz right now at the Sphere. And you guys have probably seen some of the videos about it online, right? They've spent somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 million to expand the movie using AI and other techniques to expand the frame of the movie, to fill the Sphere. They've added in wind effects and all this kind of stuff to make it the most immersive movie watching experience of all time. And here's the kicker, though. They're charging on average anywhere between $150 to $200 a ticket for an 85-year-old movie that we've all seen 100 times. And you know what? They're selling them out.
Wow.
Ann and I actually, we had to look for a matinee show just to find some tickets.
Right.
And as a result of that, the Hollywood Reporter Look at that. That's one of the
really cool.
Ann and I we stood in front of that when we went
you?
to the Backstreet Boys concert. They had that out already.
Oh, wow.
Which is like one of the most brilliant pieces of just practical marketing ever. So, according to the Hollywood Reporter, The Wizard of Oz is making them so much money. They are now actually in talks with Warner Brothers about doing an adaptation for Harry Potter films.
Oh, wow.
And they're talking to Disney about doing adaptations for the original Star Wars films.
Come on.
And now look, I've not seen Wizard of Oz yet in Sphere, but I've seen some videos about it, and it is absolutely jaw-dropping.
I mean, you mentioned Disney. I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy C has some Avatar ideas.
Oh my God. Oh my God. James Cameron. Because James Cameron's all about him and George, he's a lot like George Lucas in that way, right?
Yeah.
He's all about, if there's new tech toys, how can I use this tech toy, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that would be something. But listen, I got to say, I've watched a bunch of videos, and you guys can jump on YouTube, look up a Wizard of Oz Sphere, and it is really impressive. What they've been able to do is really freaking impressive. And I'm going to withhold too much enthusiasm until I see it for myself.
Sure.
Next Monday. But I got to tell you, if it can deliver on what it looks like they delivered for Wizard of Oz, oh hell, put the original Star Wars in there. I'll go see it. I'll save up for a bit and fork up $250 to go see it. You know what? Put Ben-Hur in there.
Or Cleopatra.
Or Ten Commandments or Spartacus. Oh my God, Jonathan. Put Lawrence of Arabia.
Yes. That actually just gave me chills.
Lawrence of Arabia given the Sphere treatment.
With the desert, that opening, and it just wraps around.
With the camera movements. Yep. Some people are saying in the live chat right now. Manpreet is saying in the live chat. Put Lord of the Rings in there.
Imagine the Last Charge of the Rohirrim. Not Last Charge of the Rohirrim,
Ride
but
of the
Rohirrim.
Helm's Deep.
Last Charge of the Ents, I meant. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Ents. Look. All I know is they're saying that this movie is pushing the Sphere's revenue up over 600 or over $500 million.
Wow.
Then that's not just from Wizard of Oz, but they're saying overall for their Sphere. Yeah. They're saying the Sphere is now becoming the single most profitable entertainment venue in the world.
And it must be a beacon of just like attraction, like in Vegas. And that's saying a lot for Vegas.
Yeah. I'm seeing some other people name some good movies. The original Matrix. Kayla Legion is saying the original Matrix. Mintzen is saying the original Blade Runner. I'm not even a Blade Runner fan, and I would go see Blade Runner in there.
And you know, they could do, like, down the line, if Pink Floyd wanted to get, like, I guess it's Roger Waters maybe who has the rights or whoever, but they could do the Wizard of Oz with the layover of, not The Wall, but what's the album, the Pink Floyd album that you can lay over the Wizard of Oz, and it syncs perfectly.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
You can actually watch it on YouTube.
That's funny.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
So yeah, and listen, it's a great way to give new experiences to classic movies that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if it keeps making money like this. If we start seeing new films coming out
that are
like, let's say Tron Ares.
Sure.
And saying on top of a movie we're putting out, we're making a special Sphere edition for it. Just like they do with, what's the name of that movie format, guys, where it's
Cinerama?
3 screens?
Cinerama.
No, but it's 3 screens. They got the main screen, then they got 2 screens that go like that.
Oh, yeah, like the newer technology, right?
Yeah, somebody in the live chat, tell me.
Not Screen X, it's like Screen...
Is it Screen X? It is.
Oh, it is Screen
People in
X.
the live chat
Okay.
are saying it's Screen X.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could see them doing something like that. As a matter of fact, in the article, one of the guys in the Sphere is saying, we may start replacing some of our concert dates here.
Oh,
with
yeah.
more of these classic movies.
Well,
Because it's just more profitable.
Dude, the overhead for concerts and the insurance that you have to have, and you got all these riggers and everything else, but you're just setting up for a movie and not for a live performance. Completely different. And it's all money coming in.
It's not just that. Ann and I went to go see Backstreet Boys there, right? Great show. I honestly can't say enough about it. And Ann had to drag me to it, but I got to say it was really impressive. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
That's one show a day.
Right. You could just run it.
They can do 3 or 4 screenings of a movie per day, sell them out at $200, $300, $400 a ticket for these things. I can see a guy, all I can say is, if you've never been to the Sphere, find an excuse to go to the Sphere. It was an absolutely remarkable experience. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Apparently, they are making so much money and selling so many tickets with this Wizard of Oz thing at the Sphere. They're going to expand. They're talking about films like Harry Potter, maybe Star Wars. You guys have mentioned some great ones like The Matrix or Lord of the Rings. Would you, or have you had a chance to go to the Sphere yet? Would you go to see a movie there? Bigger question. Would you shell out $200 to go see a movie you've already seen? A lot of people are. If it gives you a completely different experience, I don't know. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's take some time here to play a little game of overreaction, shall we? You know, every couple of days we jump on to our community tab, our post tab, and we ask you guys to submit some scenarios for games like overreaction, true or false, what's more likely. And today we did overreaction. You guys have sent in a bunch. Jonathan's got a bunch of them gathered up there. So Jonathan, what do we got?
All right. First off, I just want to be sure. Yes, Rob is not here. It's safe to read this. So here we go. First one up. Overreaction or not, John. Mason McFly says Star Trek Strange New Worlds is one of the best Star Trek shows ever made.
It is not an overreaction. It's not an overreaction. Listen, I think the new Star Trek has been hit and miss. They've had some really good ones, you know, certain things, and some really, really bad ones, certain things. And I at first thought Strange New Worlds was a stupid title for a show. You know what? I still stand by that. Strange New Worlds is a stupid title for a show. But Strange New Worlds is a fantastic show. I love it. To me, it's got the absolute spirit of the original series. Anson Mount as Pike has been just completely fantastic. And it's got the highest ratings of any Star Trek show ever. Let me repeat that. It has the highest critical ratings of any Star Trek show ever, including the original series. Now, do I think it is the best show Star Trek has ever made? No. I still think that's Star Trek The Next Generation. I safely think that Star Trek The Next Generation is still the best Star Trek show ever made. But even though I love Deep Space Nine, even though I really liked Voyager, I might say that it might be the second best Star Trek show ever made. Number 2 or 3. So yeah, I don't think it's an overreaction to say it's one of the best Star Trek series ever made.
All right.
What's next?
All right. Is this an overreaction, John? The antagonistic anonymous Avengers Doomsday will have the biggest marketing budget for any Hollywood movie ever, surpassing Endgame's $200 million.
Okay. First of all, let me say, I don't think you're crazy for saying that. And I'll tell you why I don't think you're crazy. Not only because, historically speaking, Marvel and Disney have spent a lot of money marketing their Avengers films, and it's always paid off. I mean, there's a reason. It's not just because they're Avengers films, and it's not just because of the MCU. Part of the reason that the Avengers movies make so much money is because they invest a lot of money in the marketing of those movies, and they market them pretty well. Also, you're not crazy for thinking that because, man, they really need Avengers to hit well right now. And so a creative, robust marketing campaign is going to be a part of that. But I'm going to say it's an overreaction, and I'll tell you why. I think Disney's going to aim to be smarter about how they market it. I think they're going to do big things with their marketing, but I don't see them spending $220, $230 million marketing it, because the more you spend on marketing, the more your movie's going to have to make just to hit the break-even point.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob Iger has already been very clear that they are not going to be as free and loose with their spending. And if they're spending more money on the production of the film, I think they're going to look for ways to be more effective, more efficient, more cost conscious.
Like director's chairs.
What's that?
Like director's chairs.
Yeah, exactly. Why do you think they only had one actor appear at the very end of an 8-hour stream of just chairs?
Yeah.
Right? So because of that, I actually don't think they're going to look, by most movie standards, it's going to be an expensive marketing campaign. But is it going to hit the peaks of like Avengers Endgame marketing campaign money? I actually don't think they will. I think they're going to try to be a little bit more cost efficient about it, but they are going to try to be very creative with it at the same time. All right. What's next?
Okay, next up is this one in Overreaction, John. We hear from Scotland. Love Scotland. The Long Walk will be the most successful Stephen King adaptation we have gotten so far.
I'll tell you what, I am getting more and more excited for this movie. I first heard about it at CinemaCon when they showed us, when Mark Hamill came out on stage, gave us this presentation for it. I thought it looked fantastic. They got a great director. It's one of Rob's favorite, novella stories, put out by Stephen King. The reviews, I mean, the last we checked, what did it have? Like a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. Again. The reviews have been stellar. Okay. I think this movie's going to be great.
96 now.
It's gone up.
Yeah.
96. I think it's going to be great, and I think it's going to do well. But saying it is going to be the most successful Stephen King adaptation is a wild overreaction. There's a little film called It.
Yeah.
That you might want to look this up, Jonathan, but I know it made over 700 million.
It was 702.
702 million.
Yeah.
And I think the sequel, which I didn't like very much, made like over 400 million.
473.
473. So you're talking somewhere 1.1 to 1.2 billion dollars between the two films. I think if The Long Walk can make 300 million, and I'm not saying it will, but I think if The Long Walk can get $300 million, I think they are celebrating, because it was a pretty inexpensive movie to make. So do I think this movie is going to be good? Yes. Do I think it's going to be profitable? Yes. Do I think it's going to be the best results and the biggest results for a Stephen King adaptation? Oh, hell no. Not as long as it's around. I don't even think it's going to do the money of It too. So yeah, I think saying it's going to be the biggest one yet, I think that's an exaggeration. I think that's an overreaction.
Yeah, that's a leap.
All right, what's next?
All right, fourth up, John, is this an overreaction when we hear from the real Raging Cajun, Chris Evans being seen in superhero shape? I mean, he did look really in shape. Means he will return as Captain America.
So for those who don't know why he's asking that, Chris Evans is at the Toronto International Film Festival right now, propping up one of his projects. And he is in I've seen some of the pictures. He's in much better physical shape than, say, he even was just a year ago. Look, that's him. That's him from TIFF, right?
Yes.
And he did not look like that a year ago.
No.
Now,
this dude is jacked.
Yeah, he's very much looking in Cap shape. Okay. But does that automatically mean actor getting in shape? He must be getting ready to play Captain America. Listen, Chris Evans's physique as a movie star, it's part of his selling point. It's one of his selling points, right? He's this big, physically attractive guy, all that kind of stuff. Him being in great shape does not automatically mean he's going to be Captain America. However, it's not like him being in great shape is the only hint we've had of maybe him coming back for the MCU again. We've talked about it over the last couple of months. There have been other things pointing to the idea that he's going to be back in the MCU again. And that goes along with him showing up in absolutely insane physical shape, the likes of which we have not seen him in since he played Captain America last. So while I am not willing to say it is a guarantee, it's absolutely not a guarantee. It ain't crazy to look at him now on top of all the other stuff we've seen now showing up at the Toronto International Film Festival, looking in Captain America shape again, for you to say, oh yeah, he's going to be Cap again. So I don't think it's a guarantee, but I don't think it's an overreaction for you to say it. So I'm going to say, nope, not an overreaction.
Yeah, and I mean, the atmosphere right now is we've got who was just spotted in London. We talk. Oh, Tobey Maguire. And then you got him at TIFF, and I think they had asked him some questions about Avengers, and he was a little coy about it. He wasn't like straight up no. So look, this is the environment we're in.
Yep. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
What's next?
Yeah, we got a few more here. John, is this an overreaction? From David Goldstein, Man of Tomorrow will join the $1 billion club.
You know, it's insane. It is crazy how much money Superman made. I mean, it's well beyond what I thought it would. I mean, and I wasn't a doubter. I mean, I was looking forward to the movie. I thought it would be very good. I've been very excited about it. I'm a James Gunn fan, but it getting over $600 million, I think it's now around the 615 mark. You know, Variety put out a report the other day saying its profits were in around 125 million, which is way better than I thought it would do. So does that mean now that the next film in the Superman saga, what James Gunn is calling the Superman saga, Man of Tomorrow, does that mean it's going to be $1 billion film? I think that is a big overreaction. Because look, do I think it can do better than Superman did? Yes, especially if, you know, Peacemaker keeps being great. If, and it's a big if, but if Lanterns comes out and is really good, if Supergirl comes out and it's really good, then yeah, I absolutely see Man of Tomorrow doing even bigger numbers than Superman. But you're talking about a movie having like a 75% increase in revenue over the first one. That's a huge jump. You're asking it to nearly, not quite double what the last one did. I mean, going up, yes. Making more than Superman, yes. Getting $1 billion?
Yeah.
That quickly from 600 million jumping almost like I said, 75%. I think that's a bridge too far. I think that's asking too much. So I'm going to say that is an overreaction.
All right. We move on to our penultimate here. John, is this statement an overreaction? Dexter Bird, Marvel on Disney Plus has been a huge disappointment.
Wow. Oh, you know, it's not that long ago. I still remember as we were counting down the days for Disney Plus to launch, and it was launching not with a Marvel show, it was launching with a Star Wars show, launched with Mandalorian. And boy, did Marvel get out to a great start on Disney Plus. Remember what their first show was?
It was WandaVision.
WandaVision was their first show. And to this day, by miles, it's not even close. It's the best show they've ever put out. And look, they have had some really good shows and some really good successes. Obviously, WandaVision. Ms. Marvel was fantastic. Agatha ended up being a real surprise hit for them. I mean, Agatha got more viewership than Daredevil did. Loki, you know, here and there. So they've had some good stuff. And by the way, I really like Daredevil Born Again. I quite liked it. I don't think it's quite as good as it was when it was on Netflix, but I thought it was really quite good. The problem is that for every Ms. Marvel, for every WandaVision, you have a Echo or a She-Hulk or a Secret Invasion.
It's a crying shame. That should not have been listed in that, but it is.
Yeah. I mean, I was not a fan of Hawkeye. I didn't think Hawkeye was complete garbage, but by the end of the day, I didn't think it was all that good. And it's just that I'm going to say it is not an overreaction to say it's been a big disappointment. Because remember, when Disney Plus launched, that was in the era that almost everything that Marvel was putting out in the MCU was a banger. Right? I've often described the difference in the eras. Back then, Endgame and pre-Endgame, every time a new MCU project was coming out, we expected it to be great. We expected it to be great. Today, when an MCU thing comes out, we hope it's good. We've gone in a couple of years from expecting greatness to just hoping it'll at least be good. And nothing kind of represents that better than what they've done in the MCU. They've definitely put out a couple things that have been wonderful. They have. I'm not taking that away from them. But they've also put out a disproportionate amount of stuff that has not been so great. And so because of that, I'm going to say, yeah, up until now, it can redeem itself. Don't get me wrong. It can absolutely redeem itself moving forward. 100% it can. But up till right now, yeah, I'm going to say overall, it's been a disappointment. All right. What's next?
Okay. We got one more here for you, John. Is this statement an overreaction? The FPPC says Shrek 5 guaranteed $1 billion film.
You know what? Here's the thing. Shrek is going to be very big. It's going to be big. I mean, I knew from the moment that I was watching Puss in Boots, what was the name of it? Last Wish?
Last Wish.
Puss in Boots' Last Wish. When it ended with Puss in Boots on the boat and saying, I'm going to go visit some friends, and the camera pans around and shows that he's sailing towards far, far away. And the audience I was with erupted. My former assistant, Taylor, just mad, psychotic Shrek fan. By the way, I gotta get this to Taylor. This one of our fans who came to one of the movie meathoops.
Yeah,
heard
that
me
was
say,
really
I
nice.
heard you excited about Shrek, and he brought me this, which is amazing.
I know.
And I think I said to him, I said, I gotta see if I can get this here because I love this, but Taylor will almost cry.
Yeah,
if I gave this to Taylor, but I'm going to say it's an overreaction that it gets $1 billion, and I will tell you why. I think it will be big. I think it'll be very good. But the fact of the matter is, there are fewer people going to the movies today than there were just 5 or 6 years ago. It's a smaller audience to draw from. Now, maybe in the coming years, the movie industry can turn that around. Certainly can. Maybe it doesn't. But as of right now, there are fewer people going to the movie theaters than there were. Double digits. And so, yeah, I still think Shrek is going to be a big success, but I think it's an overreaction given the current realities of the market. I think it's an overreaction saying it's going to be $1 billion film.
All right.
All right, guys. And that will wrap up our little session of overreaction. Thank you, everybody who sent in those scenarios for us to address. Let me know what you think about all the statements that came in, whether you thought they were overreactions or not. I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? The other day, Jonathan, you alluded to this already. The other day we were talking about the fact that Tobey Maguire was just spotted in London right as they're shooting in London Spider-Man Brand New Day and Avengers Doomsday. And of course, that got a lot of the speculation and the talk going about, could he be back as Spider-Man again? Could he be playing Peter Parker again? Could he be in one of them? Could he be in both of them? All that kind of stuff. And we talked about the possibilities and what it would mean and everything that we did. You guys saw us talk about that. Well, now add another one to that list. Because one of the things making its way around all the sites and all the trades today is this fact, that Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow have just been photographed together. And as it says in the article, this is coming to us from Superhero Hype, it is starting a lot of Doomsday rumors. Now, for those of you who haven't seen it, here's the picture. This is at a restaurant where they were out. They posed for a picture. I think it was clearly with the staff of the restaurant. And so now what everybody is talking about is, oh my God, Tony and Pepper are back. Gwyneth Paltrow is coming back. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, is she not in that upcoming Timothée Chalamet movie? The one where he's the pink, what's it called again? Where he's Marty Supreme?
Marty, yeah. Let me
or
look
something
it up.
along those lines. I can't remember the name of it, but I think she's in that. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she's in that. Oh, Dingus McNally's saying, yes, she's in that.
All right.
So it's got everybody talking about it. Pepper's back. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. Everybody knows I dislike 90% of comic book movie romances. They're almost all misses for me. Out of the dozens and dozens and dozens of them that we've had, there's only a couple that really worked for me. One was Andrew Garfield's Peter and Emma Stone's Gwen.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one. That one worked. I liked Druig and Makari from Eternals. I don't care what you think about the movie. I personally think the movie's quite good, but even if you hate it, I don't care. That chemistry, that relationship was wonderful. That was adorable and sweet and beautiful, and I loved it. That one was really good. Deadpool.
Right.
So and they've stretched that one out over all three of the films. That one works. But right at the top of the list is Tony and Pepper. To me, Tony and Pepper, I think is just the best on-screen relationship that I've seen, because these are two characters that had wildly great chemistry. And also the nature of the relationship. The playboy who could have every woman in the world, the one woman who is not impressed by him is the one that he falls in love with. The most intelligent, the sharpest, the strongest, the one who stands up to him, the one who doesn't take his crap. That's the one he realizes is the best thing in the world for him. And I love that relationship. I really do. With the Tobey Maguire situation, him being spotted in London around the sets, I was willing to say, you know what? I believe it. I believe now. I do believe, as somebody who's been doubtful about Tobey Maguire popping back up as Spider-Man again, I think I am now at the point where I believe. I think this might have turned me around on it, that he's going to be there. I have the exact opposite reaction for this photo. Let's bring it up again. So something that is a key, John, if Tobey Maguire being spotted is enough to change your mind, that maybe he'll be in it, why not this photo? A big key detail about this photo is this. It was taken in Chicago. If this photo had been taken in London,
right?
If they said this is a photo that just came out of London, the doubting Thomas that I am, even I would be going, right? I'd say, well, maybe where there's a little bit of smoke, there's a little bit of fire. The fact that it's taken in Chicago. And the other fact that you have to understand and remember is this. Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow have been tight, close friends for a very long time. They've been tight, close friends. I remember being at an event and Robert Downey Jr. came out and proclaimed Gwyneth Paltrow as the true queen of the MCU. She is the leading lady of the MCU as far as Robert Downey Jr. is concerned. They have had a tight friendship for many years. So the two of them having dinner together and taking some pictures in a Chicago restaurant, I don't think at all elicits the same kind of suspicion that Tobey Maguire just happened to being in London while two major MCU projects that would easily have his Peter Parker as a part of them being in it. I think it's two different scenarios. I think it's comparing apples and spaceships. Now, that being said, though, could we see Gwyneth Paltrow? Well, she's acting again. She is, as Robert Downey Jr. calls her, the first lady of the MCU. And could they have their Doom with a Lady Pepper? I mean, wouldn't that be a kick in the balls? If Doom, but he also has his main thing is Lady Pepper or Duchess Pepper or Baroness Pepper or whatever they wanted to call her, right? Something along those lines. I mean, look, do I think it's inconceivable?
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable in my best Vincini. Is it inconceivable that Gwyneth Paltrow could come back? Absolutely not.
No.
I mean, it's totally possible.
Sure.
100% it's possible. But do I think a picture of her having dinner with an old friend 3,000 miles away from where they're shooting an Avengers movie is our smoking gun? I don't think so. I don't think so. Possibility? Sure. Is some kind of definitive proof? Nah, not at all. And by the way, I think if there were anything to it, I think Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow would be a little bit more discreet than going, yeah, let's all pose for some pictures together.
Right. Now, if Tom Holland was also in this photo, I'd be like, okay, this is a little different.
That is a great point. If Tom Holland was also in the picture, if Chris Evans was also in the picture,
the internet would explode.
Oh my God, the internet would blow up. If Chris Hemsworth were also in the picture, if anybody else, if there was even one other member of an Avengers cast, even an ancillary member of the cast in the picture, I would be singing a different tune. If this picture were taken in London, I would be singing a different tune. But two old friends having dinner in Chicago?
Nah, I don't.
Again, it doesn't disqualify that she could be in it, sure, but I don't think this adds to it. So I'm going to remain on the skeptical train of this for now, but who knows? We'll find out. We'll see where this is going to go. All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, hot off the presses of like Chris Evans has been photographed in Captain America shape. Tobey Maguire spotted in London around the sets of Spider-Man Brand New Day and Avengers. Add to that now, Tony and Pepper having dinner. Does that mean anything? Maybe you think it does. Maybe you agree with me and you're not really sure that it does. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, there was a great ball of excitement when it first got announced. And some of you may not have even heard this yet, but we are getting a God of War series. And the most exciting thing about it is that I believe it's an Amazon series, right?
Yes.
Amazon's doing it. And of course, let's see, what have they just recently done with video games? Oh, I don't know, Fallout, which is getting Emmy nominations.
Yep.
But the best news possible is that somehow, some way, Amazon was able to attach the greatest showrunner of all time, Ronald D. Moore, to be the guy to write and run that new series. And, you know, we heard Ronald D. Moore about a month ago give a little bit of updates on the development of the story and all that kind of stuff. Well, recently, whispers have started going around. Whispers have been starting to float around. I've heard a few, a bunch of people I know have heard a few, all that kind of stuff. Some online stuff has been going around about who could be playing Kratos, the main incredible character from God of War. Who could be playing it? Because listen, this ain't an easy cast. You got to find somebody who can kind of carry that sort of gravitas and really have the physical presence. Really have that physical presence. And so I'm going to say there's a couple of pieces of criteria. And I'm going to give you guys now a list. We're going to talk about 10 names. And you know, we've speculated in the past before, right? About who could play Kratos. I think a couple of years ago, we might have done this before. Yep. But now I'm going to incorporate into this. I'm not going to tell you which ones were which, but I've been told a couple of names that are in the running. I'm not the only one. Some other YouTubers and stuff like that have heard the exact same names I have. So I'm not pretending like I'm the only one who has this information. I'm not. But I'm not going to tell you guys which ones are very popular fan casts, which ones are names I'm adding to the list myself personally, and which ones are actually coming from some rumors I'm hearing and other people are hearing as well. Okay? So this list is in no particular order. We're going to talk about 10 names of people who could be playing Kratos. And there's two big pieces of criteria. Number one, you can't be too young.
Mm-hmm.
Kratos is a character that needs to carry some weight, some age, burden. This is a character that you've got to instantly believe that he has seen and been through it all, and the weight of it is all on his big, considerable shoulders. So I don't think you can get an actor who's 30 years old to play him. The second criteria is you've got to have a physical presence. He is the god of war. He's Kratos. He's got to bring with him. I'm not saying he has to be the biggest bodybuilder in the world, but he's got to at least have the ability to truly bulk up and carry a physically intimidating presence. It's just a key thing to the character.
Yeah.
Right? So those are the two main things I'm bringing to it. But I'm also going to say this. While I want somebody who can act, Kratos is one of those roles that you don't necessarily need the greatest actor in the world to play, because his dialogue is a little bit more limited. Just have them say boy about 50 times. Boy. And you know, so you don't, I mean, I still want a good actor, but it's not necessarily a role that needs to be Daniel Day-Lewis, right? All right. These names I'm going to give you are in no particular order. Some of them are popular fan casts. Some of them are my own picks. Some of them are ones we're legitimately hearing being rumored, but I'm not going to tell you about any of that. I'm just going to give you names. Here are the 10 possibilities. Going to start off with this one. Christopher Judge. Why, John, would you be getting the guy from Stargate to be Kratos? Well, he's the popular voice of Kratos in the video games. That's him.
Yeah.
Boy. And his voice is awesome. His voice is awesome. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like the pick. I love Christopher Judge. His voice is fantastic. But I look at him and I've watched a lot of his acting, and I just don't think he's the right guy. I think he was great to voice the character. I don't think he's necessarily right to play the character. But would I complain if they cast him? I'll be a little concerned, but I'll be okay. Let's see how this goes. So Christopher Judge is definitely one of those names out there. All right. Next one up. You've seen others mention this one. Jason Momoa.
Heard of him.
I mean, listen, we're talking about a guy he's not that young anymore, which is good. He's clearly got the physical stature for it. And he's a pretty decent actor all in one. Now, some people might go, well, that's overplaying the type and all that kind of stuff. And that's legitimate. That would be a legitimate thing. But the reality is he would be good for the role. I don't care if you're a Jason Momoa fan or not, he would be good for the role. So that's definitely one of the names that you have to keep your eye on. Next up, Dave Bautista. Now, Dave Bautista has recently slimmed down a bit, but make no mistake, he's still a beast. And for those of you guys, you might have heard that he had kind of dropped some weight and decided to slim down a bit, but he just posted some pictures of himself. I don't know if you've seen them, Jonathan. He's recently showed some pictures of himself, and he's ripped.
I haven't seen it. I'll see if
he's ripped. He's not withered away. He's in phenomenal shape. Much smaller than he was, but he's in absolutely great shape. And guess what? He could put that weight back on.
Sure.
Because his genetics are just accustomed to having that weight. So he could put on 20, 30 more pounds of muscle if he needed to. So again, I think he's the right age. I think he's got that physically intimidating presence. Can't wait to see him as the Kurgan.
I mean, my pecs don't look like that.
Yeah,
So.
like, listen. Yeah, I like to think I'm in okay shape. My pecs will never look like that. Like, he's still looking pretty damn good. So, but for Kratos, I'd want him to put some of that weight back on, and he can do it.
Yeah, he can bulk up.
So he can do it. All right. Next up. I love this guy. Winston Duke. I think Winston Duke, like if you look at him, and I'm not saying it's just because of this, but if you look at him in Black Panther as M'Baku, you know he can have that cold presence if you want him to. And by the way, take a look at this image of him. This dude's jacked. He's a fabulous actor. He has the physical presence of it. He can play that cold, menacing presence. That's great. I think they could do a lot worse. A lot worse than a Winston Duke. My one concern is maybe he's a little bit too young.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Again, I would ideally like to see Kratos being played by an actor in his late 40s, 50s, something like that, because you just got to believe this is an older man, Kratos, who's seen the crap in the world and it's weighed on him and it ages him. But still, I think Winston Duke would be a hell of a choice. I would be all for Winston Duke getting it. All right. Next, another guy I love, Joe Manganiello. I think he's getting to the right age for it.
Oh, definitely.
I think he's got a wonderful screen presence. I mean, listen, the DCEU had to die. There was no doubt about it. It had to die. But one of the things I regret, other than not seeing my boy Henry play Superman more, is not being able to get to see his Deathstroke. Joe Manganiello playing Deathstroke, I think would have been great. By the way, Jonathan, awesome guy. When my wife Ann was bigwig over at Hasbro, she brought in my buddy Kyle Newman, the director of Fanboys, and Joe. She brought them into Hasbro and brought them into Wizards of the Coast because, you know, Hasbro owned Wizards of the Coast, the makers of Dungeons and Dragons. For those of you who don't know, Joe is a big Dungeons and Dragons guy. He hosts the hottest Dungeons and Dragons game in Hollywood.
I mean, I think it's the basement, but it's like this totally retrofitted basement that looks amazing.
Look up Joe Manganiello Dungeons and Dragons, and his setup is insane. But just couldn't be a sweeter, nicer. I've had him into my studio before. He was great with Ann when she toured him around and brought him in. Like, just couldn't be a sweeter guy. But he checks all the boxes, right? Solid actor, physical presence, right age, fan of the property too, by the way. So Joe Manganiello.
Here's a shot with him with a beard, just so you can envision it more.
There you go. You can just picture just a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right. Next guy I'm going to bring up is Paul Levesque.
I mean,
AKA...
he is Kratos. Look at that.
For those of you who don't know, Paul is also known by his more popular moniker, Triple H. Now look, Triple H is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. He is not, despite the fact that they tried, he's been in a number of movies. He's even been the lead in a couple of movies. And I'm a big fan of Paul. Not a great actor. I think that's okay to say.
Yeah.
Not a great actor. But I'm including him on this list. Maybe he's one of the guys I've heard rumored. I'm not saying that he is. I'm not saying that he's not. But I'm including him on this list because, again, there's not a lot of acting required. And if you want to see somewhere where he kind of looks like Kratos, take a look at this. Now, he had some health scares before, in the last couple of years. This picture of him is from about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
He's had some health scares, but apparently his health has improved. And he's trimmed down a bit, but again, his genetics are just wired to have that kind of build. He could get it back. So look, am I saying he's my number one choice to be Kratos? No. But I mean, again, just look at him. Just look at this picture.
I mean, he looks the closest to the character.
Again, and that's not the most important thing.
No.
But it's something, right? Anyway, so there's that. Next name I'm going to bring up.
I personally love this pick.
I love this one too. Manu Bennett. Manu Bennett, he's primarily known for three things. He was Crixus in one of my all-time top 5 favorite shows of all time, Spartacus, that he was in with Aaron Cummings. He was like the second main guy in the show next to Spartacus himself. That's where I really became a big fan of him. Then, of course, he played Deathstroke in CW's Arrow. And he was the White Orc in the Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Now, you never saw his face, but he did the motion capture and the voice for him. And I've also had the opportunity to get to know Manu. I haven't seen or talked to him in a couple of years, but Manu was just fabulous. Super guy. He bunked up with me at Comic-Con one year. He came and did my panel with me, and he actually stayed with me, and I've had a chance to hang out with him a couple of times. Super guy, but I think a wonderful actor. He's got that gruff voice. He's got the physique. I think he's the right age now because he's obviously a little bit older than when he played Deathstroke and whatever. I think he's the right age now. The one thing that might work against Manu is that he's only about my height. So, and you probably want Kratos to be a little bit bigger, taller, but okay, that's one of the knocks against him, but you might be able to work your way. I mean, hell, Tom Cruise played Reacher, Jonathan. Cruise played Reacher.
Yeah. Anytime anyone kind of talks about height in Hollywood, I'm like, have you heard of apple boxes?
Yeah, I mean, it helps if you don't need them, though.
Yeah.
It does help if you don't need them. But still, if I were to wake up tomorrow to find out that Manu Bennett was cast to play Kratos, I'd be totally down for that. I think it would be great. All right. If we were worried about somebody maybe not quite being tall enough, which I think is still fine, this next name has no problems with that. Oliver Richters. You might remember him from the most recent season of Reacher, in which he played Paulie, the guy who dwarfs Reacher. He is 7'2", legit bodybuilder. By the way, here's a picture of him cosplaying as Kratos.
Come on.
That's him.
Humans are made that big. That's fake.
Humans are not made as big as this dude. He's 7'2", or as somebody in the live chat just called him 6'14".
Yeah.
He is that big.
How's he get in a car?
I think I saw a video of him doing that once. It's not comfortable. I mean, and you know what? I was a little bit worried about him playing Paulie. I mean,
how the hell does he fly?
Yeah. What airline has seats for him? But I remember, but you know what? I liked him as Paulie in Reacher. And again, I just don't think Kratos is a role that's going to require a lot of acting range. And I mean, this is the guy. This is just a physical monster. And if I want to believe somebody is a true manifested in the flesh god of war, I don't know. That might be the guy.
I wonder if his agent was like, I know you're going to this event. I know you want to cosplay. Might I suggest Kratos?
It's the right one. Yeah. I would love to see him get it. All right. 2 more names. Gonna bring up. John, shouldn't there be 3 more names? We'll get to that in a second. Travis Fimmel. Or Fimmel, as people call him. Most known for playing Ragnar.
Right.
In Vikings. He was also the lead of that unfortunate World of Warcraft movie. And he's in the most, that recent Dune, what was the name of the Sisterhood TV show?
Oh.
Not Dune Legacy, Dune.
Let me look it up.
Dune.
Prophecy.
Prophecy, that's what it is. Dune Prophecy. I think he's got a wonderful screen presence. By the way, he was also in that sci-fi series, something about wolves. Or Now I'm freezing on the name of the show. I don't think it got renewed for a second season, but it was Raised by Wolves.
Oh, yeah.
Raised by Wolves. Chuck Rod in the live chat is saying Raised by Wolves. I really like him. I think he's got a great screen presence. He'd have to get matched up with Hugh Jackman's trainer and get about 20, 25, 30 more pounds of bulk put on him. But I think he would be really great in the role. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I meant to only have 9 names on my list so we could take 10 from the audience, but I accidentally have 10 on my list.
Oops.
So that, whatever. I'll still take an 11th from the audience. For now, my 10th pick. And I know when I say it, you're going to roll your eyes. I get it. But my boy, Henry Cavill. Now, maybe
Danny DeVito. Come on.
a touch on the young side for it, but he's getting near his mid-40s.
You get gray his hair a little bit.
He's definitely got the physique. He's definitely got the acting. Tell me he wouldn't do well as Kratos. I think he would.
My man is
Super Kratos.
Kind of busy though. He's got a lot of.
Yeah, I mean he's got his Highlander movie going into production. He's got his Warhammer projects that he's trying to get done. There was that other. What was that other project? We were just talking about him too. So his dance card is getting pretty full. Did you
say Highlander?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's getting ready to start shooting that. So, but again, hey, listen, if they announce Henry Cavill tomorrow, he's got the build, he's got the physique, he's got the acting chops. I think he would do really well.
Voltron's already shot, so it wasn't that.
Yeah, that's already done, unfortunately. So again, some of the names on this list are popular fan casting. Some of the names are a couple of names I put on. I'll tell you one. Henry's the name I put on the list, okay? And some of them are legitimate ones that are being whispered about around the industry. Again, those names are Christopher Judge, Jason Momoa, Dave Bautista, Winston Duke, Joe Manganiello, Paul Levesque, Manu Bennett, Oliver Richters, Travis Fimmel, and my boy, Henry Cavill. But I want to go over to you. I mean, Jonathan's got some pictures of some other guys who could possibly be it. Got Ben Stiller there.
I'm digging it.
Ben Stiller as Kratos.
Yeah.
Is there one of John Travolta in the outfit? I can't remember. There is John Travolta with his daughter. I love this commercial.
I know.
And wasn't there a third? Oh, yeah. LeBron James. There it is. There's our Kratoses. But I want to see now, somebody in the live chat, Shiloh, is saying Alan Ritchson, who was obviously is Reacher. He was with Oliver, who we've suggested on this list. I wouldn't be opposed to Alan. Again, maybe a bit young, but he's getting close to the age. Michael Gonzalez just gave a really interesting name. Alexander Skarsgård. Listen, after seeing, what was that Viking movie that he was just in with him and Anya Taylor-Joy, directed by Robert Eggers, The Northman.
Yeah, Northman.
After seeing The Northman, I could totally see Alexander Skarsgård, even bulking up a little bit more. I could see that's not a bad one as well. Josh Brolin is an interesting name.
Okay. Yeah.
Josh Brolin. Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Idris Elba is an interesting one too. I like that one as well. Trying to see Paul Walter Hauser.
Shit.
Paul Walter Hauser and Chris Pratt. There's your 1-2. Kindness is punk rock. Just gave an interesting name. Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
That's
maybe. Age is right.
You know what? I'm not going to scoff at that one.
He's not super short.
Yeah, no, he's a tall dude. I'm not going to scoff at a Hugh Jackman pick.
Can hold a tune.
If Ronald D. Moore decides to throw in a musical number into it, he could tap it out.
The hit single, Boy.
Hit Boy. Oh my God, now I'm going to have that in my head all day. That's going to totally be in my head all day. So yeah, there's a few
Gerard Butler's in there. You know, someone said like Gladiator. Why can't I think of his name?
Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe, but I
Not
just
in
don't
the
think
physical
so.
shape anymore.
Doesn't have the physical.
No.
No.
No. They tried to get him. Listen, I'm a massive Russell Crowe fan, okay? But he just isn't in the physical shape to do that. And they tried to get him in the physical shape for it a little bit when he was going to play Zeus. And he definitely bulked up, but he was not in great shape.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't see that. Ryan Hurst from Sons of Anarchy, Blackjack Hooligan, is saying Ryan Hurst. I love that one. That's a great one too. Some people saying Chris Hemsworth. You know what? That's not a bad pick either. Marlon Lamb is saying Jake Gyllenhaal. I just don't like Jake Gyllenhaal could have the physique. I just don't think he has that kind of screen presence.
And he still has that boyish charm.
Yeah, he's wonderful, and his boyish charm is part of what makes him so great. But he's a good actor.
J.K. Simmons, like, honestly, does have the physique and does have the voice and the age. I just wonder if he's too old.
Wait, hold a second.
Because I know he got ripped for the Don't Kidnap Santa Claus movie, but Red One or whatever it was called.
Yeah, well, it wasn't just that, right? He's been in incredible shape for a long time. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can.
Level 4
I don't
naughty
know if I'm
lister?
going to be able to get this or not, but I'm going to try. Yeah. Look at this.
Yeah.
like I think JK might be a little too old.
Too old, though.
I've been worried about some of the actors being too young. I think he's a little past that.
Right.
Though, you know what I could see him doing? Odin.
Yeah. He could definitely play a role in this world.
Because remember, they got the guy from the West Wing. I keep forgetting, Shafe or something like that, whatever his name is. They got the guy from the West Wing in the video games to be Odin. But you get this JK
right
as Odin? I'd be down for that. I could totally be down for JK as Odin.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. The rumors are now starting to float around in the trades and stuff like that about who they might be looking at to play Kratos. Who do you think could be a good pick for him? Do you like some of the names we talked about? Do you dislike some of the names? Do you have other names you'd like to add to that list? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, with all that down, it's time for us to get on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your comments and questions. But before we do, we're going to take a quick moment and thank the sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at PrizePicks. Guys, we want to thank the sponsor of today's episode, PrizePicks. Look, you and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right actually means you win. And with football back, there is no better time to get in on the action. You guys know I've been using PrizePicks for a while now, and it's honestly the most fun I've had engaging with the new football season already. For example, this weekend, I had Josh Allen throwing for more than 270 passing yards, and Baker Mayfield having more than 2.5 passing touchdowns, and boom, I won on both. Building your lineups on PrizePicks is fast, simple, and honestly extremely fun. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and if you're right, you win. What's even better is that PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still win even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Plus, they've even got this thing called injury reboots, so if a player goes down in the first half, it won't count against you. And PrizePicks operates in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. So download the app today and use code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. All right, guys, with that all out of the way, let's move on and start taking your questions, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up first?
All right. First up, we got Tevin C. Did you record Round and Round in 1990? Are you Tevin Campbell? Hey, everybody. I know the multiverse is almost done, but for Blade, could they have just put him in a separate universe like Fantastic Four? Or in that universe, him and Vampire? Wait. Oh, it just bumped on me. I hate when it does. Well, we'll read this, and then I don't know why it's been doing that lately. Anonymous says, and there it goes again. Rory McCann says, you want a Kratos? Me. And then Anonymous says, here's the pressing question about the Last Witch Hunter sequel. Yeah. Who is writing it? Will the writers of the first movie return? Because as we recall, they gave us the gems Morbius, Madam Web, Dracula Untold, and Gods of Egypt.
Was that the writers?
I don't know. I got to research that.
If that is the writers, what a legacy of failure. Yeah, and listen, I hate speaking. I hate like having to say that, but I mean, these are people that should never be hired as writers.
I just can't imagine it's the same people.
You know what? It's starting to ring true a little bit.
Corey Goodman, Matt Sazama, Burke Sharpless was Witch Hunter.
And is that the guys though?
I
have to look into it.
Morbius. But
have to see. By the way, just a side note, X-Men superfan Emma Frost sends in 5 super chat gifts.
Oh, thank you
so much for that.
If I can find it, I'll bring them up. I got news for you, John. Those names do appear.
It's them. Oh my God.
Okay.
Well, then you got to bring them back. Keep the gang together. Keep the gang together.
These guys have a career.
All right. What's next?
Swole Daywalker. Hey guys, everyone is talking about who is possibly playing Batman, but I'm curious who's the next Jim Gordon. Gary Oldman and Jeffrey Wright were great. I'd love to see Ethan Hawke next. Interesting. Also, I hope James Gunn brings back Sholo as Blue Beetle. He was great. You could bring back that world of Blue Beetle because they never really touched on anything in the DCU.
Yeah. Much like Peace, it never really crossed streams.
No.
So you could do that, but here's the problem. And by the way, for the record, I like that Blue Beetle movie.
I did too.
I did, but it absolutely flopped.
Oh yeah. Wasn't it the very last of the DCU films?
It made worldwide $130 million. I just don't see how you continue that. I think if you're going to do Blue Beetle, now I think they'll use him as the voice and animation and stuff like that. Maybe.
I mean, Freakier Friday made more money than that.
But you know what else made more money than that? The Last Witch Hunter.
That's true. They should make a sequel.
The Last Witch. Yes. Boom. Lionsgate is saying, getting on the phone with the DC right now. Make that sequel. The Last Witch Hunter made more money than the Blue Beetle. Yeah, I just don't see how you go back to that well. Again, that's not Sholo's fault. I thought he was a good Blue Beetle. I like the movie. But it's you got to move on from it. I think you absolutely have to move on from it. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. By the way, I don't mind the idea. Ethan Hawke as a Jim Gordon? I don't mind that idea at all, as a matter of fact. That wouldn't be bad. All right, what's next?
All right, we got, wrong one. Lex Radu Theory, the big cameo of Peacemaker will be neither Batman or Bruce Wayne, but matches Malone, cab driver Chris knows as something like Big M, but doesn't realize it's Batman he hates. Casting reveal for comic book fans, surprise kept for casual. I just don't think it's going to be a deep cut.
Yeah, no, it won't be a deep cut. It's going to be something that will get an instant buzz and reaction from the general audience watching it. It won't be a deep cut. Don't get me wrong. Do not put it by James Gunn to put in a couple of deep cuts, Easter eggs and whatever, 100%. But if James Gunn remember, his last one to end the season of Peacemaker was the frickin' Justice League with Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller. And silhouettes of Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman all appearing. If he's now following that up by saying a really, really, really big cameo, it ain't going to be some obscure deep cut that only 5% of the people watching will get. It's going to be something big that's going to make a splash. Mm-hmm. All right, what's next?
Spawn Camping says, have you seen the trailer for Sisu Road to Revenge? The Sisu sequel releases November 21st internationally, 1 month earlier in Finland. Director Jalmari, pronounced Jalmari, thank you. Helander feels the right kind of director for the Rambo prequel.
Just because a director does one thing with war and action and violence doesn't necessarily mean that's all they can do. So I'll say that. But yeah, I got really excited when they said they were doing a Sisu follow-up. That first one is so violent. It's filled with so much righteous vengeance There's just so much. It's really good. I can't wait to see the second one. I'm very, very excited for it. All right, what's next?
Slaughter Bart. Hey, John, since you haven't fully announced your Portland stop, I'd recommend Hollywood Theater, Cinema 21, and Cinemagic. These all are locally owned theaters that play a mix of new and classic films, sometimes 35 or 70 millimeter. They're all pretty well known for hosting events for creatives and are playing a host of classics in the next couple of months. That would be a ton of fun.
Yeah, no, we did announce which one it is.
Yeah, for Portland,
It's going to be the Regal Evergreen Parkway. That's where we're going to be on September 21st in the Portland area. So that is the theater we're going to be at.
Just goes on to say, I'm lucky to live in a city that has a healthy independent theater scene. I recently saw There Will Be Blood and sold out 35 millimeter show.
Nice. You know what? One of the things that I love is that as we're starting to schedule out and plan the movie meetups is seeing a number of like non-new films. Like the fact that we're going to get to see Psycho and The Thing and Howl's Moving Castle and Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Like I'm really excited
and mixing,
about that.
I like the mix because then you're mixing with new stuff and classics. So people have different things to look forward to. Like, oh, I got to go to this one or I got to go to that one.
Yeah.
You know?
So because we're going to do the long walk and we're going to do him. And yeah, so, but yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that aspect of it. All right, what's next?
Alex Von Gollum says, hi team, it's game day.
Game day?
Watching Conjuring. This was like 5 days ago, but for tonight, I recently watched the first 3 for the first time. Wow, a lot of Conjuring. What I like the most is the relationship of the Warrens. I feel like we hang out with them in the movies. Feels like it's their Avengers Endgame movie.
It kind of is in their way. And you know what? You are right. The true underlying strength, you know, Rob kind of touched on this a little bit yesterday. It's that relationship with the Warrens and by extension, their kid as well. And that's kind of, now look, the Conjuring films for me, as you look at their whole cinematic universe, have been hit and miss. There are a couple of real big stinkers in there, but a couple of really good ones too. And it is just bonkers, the success that this new one has had already. Like obliterating the franchise records. And for those of you who missed us talking about it yesterday, the new Conjuring movie just became the 3rd biggest opening for a horror film in history, only trailing behind It and It 2. That's it. No other horror film in history has had as big of an opening as this new Conjuring movie did. Absolutely crazy. So happy for them. That's so good. All right, what's next?
Garden Variety. You guys were referencing the movie box office game. It's called Hollywood Stock Exchange.
That was it.
It's still active.
That was it. Yeah, that's like, what was that? Now, again, we had a longtime viewer of our channel, Fanjecture, who actually had one going too. That was a really, really good one as well. But Hollywood Stock Exchange, I didn't know it was still around.
Me either.
I might have to go look it up again.
I know.
I remember that was kind of fun. I bet it's been years since I looked
Maybe we
at
could
it.
like turn it into some kind of like weekly segment, like leading into the box office weekend or something like that.
Maybe. I'll have to take a look at it again.
Wade says, the teaser for Monster Ed Game Story finally dropped. It's chilling. Comes out my birthday weekend. It's one of the best teasers I've seen in the past 5 to 10 years for a Netflix show.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend that I'm interested in it. So I haven't seen the trailer for it. I didn't watch the original series. I'm not planning on watching this one. So there's that. But you are not the first person to write in to me to say that they're kind of looking forward to it and excited about it. So I hope it delivers, because I know there are a couple of people that are pretty excited about it. So I really hope it delivers high for your expectations.
All right.
What's next?
Salty Dog. Hey, Campea Crew. An idea popped in my head about the new DCU could handle Batman. Do you think with the Reeves Batman ongoing, could we see more villain movies feature?
Oh, we addressed that yesterday.
We read that one. Sometimes it mixes them up. Hi, John and Crew. This is from Chad from Pittsburgh. Hope you're doing well. I saw the segment about the Conjuring universe. I added up the box office budget estimates for each movie. Totaled about $181 million. The return was roughly $2.2 billion, not including marketing costs.
That can't be real. When you added up all those 8 or 9 movies, the total production budget came out to
Unless he's just talking about the Conjuring proper, but I thought he just said...
maybe the Conjuring proper. Like, I know this new one cost, like, I think it was the most expensive one. Let me just look up something here. What was the production budget of Conjuring Last Rites? I'm just going to see if I can pull up a number here, because I think that, that by itself is $55 million. So what would, because what did he say it was, like 181?
181.
Because if that's 8 movies, I think it was 8 movies. Let me double check. So we can bring up my screen here. So we got Conjuring 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you're saying on average, the production budget of each of those movies, the average was only $20 million? I mean, you might be right. If so, that is ludicrous. That kind of a profit margin. But I'd have to double check those numbers. That seems a little bit low, that 181. But look, let's even say for a second, maybe you're right. But let's say for a second that you're wrong. Even if you're wrong by half, let's say the actual production budget was double that.
Still great.
360. 360 to 2 point whatever
2.
billion it was. That's still ridiculous. And you might be right about the numbers. Again, that seems kind of low, but it'd be interesting to find out if you're actually right with your calculations.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
D. Mullins. Hi, John. In Star Wars, you know how Andor explored the rise of the rebellion and the Empire. Why not bring Gilroy back to do a series set between Return and The Force Awakens, exploring the rise of the First Order? You sort of are getting that with The Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly what The Mandalorian is. It's the Mandalorian is exploring the Mandalorian, Ahsoka.
Yeah.
What's the other one they did? Book of Boba Fett. All that is set in that time frame.
Uh-huh.
Now, I am tired. Again, Andor is the greatest thing they've ever done. But I want stories to move forward. I'm so tired of just, let's go backwards in our storytelling. Let's go backwards. Let's go backwards. Let's do. And why not bring Gilroy back? Well, I'm sure they would love to bring Gilroy back, but Gilroy has said he's done, which sucks. Look, in my estimation, if you are Disney, not just Lucasfilm, if you're Disney, you back up dump trucks of Spanish gold into his driveway and you say, we will give you whatever you want. You come back and make more Star Wars for us. We'll give you whatever you want. But the issue right now is not just saying, why not bring back Gilroy? Well, I'm sure they would love to, but he said this has been an all-encompassing, long, arduous process for him to make these Andor things and his work on Rogue One. And he said he's just got other things he wants to do. But if you could get him back, I would like to say, forget the period here or this period or this period. Just move forward. Make something that takes place after the events of Rise of Skywalker. I don't care if it's 5 minutes after, 5 years after, 5 decades after, 5 centuries after. I would like to see him making stories that move forward into the universe. All right, what's next?
Chad is back. Hi, crew. I'm excited about the new Superman Saga movie announced, but I have concerns they might try to make Lex an anti-hero. Lex was shown to be evil. Do you think it would be a mistake to try and redeem him, which is a popular trope?
Well, no, not redeem him. Not redeem him. But I was talking about this on the show the other day. Remember, this Lex Luthor doesn't want to go out and slaughter all kittens. Lex Luthor does not want to destroy the world. If anything, he'd like to rule the world, but it's his world in his mind. So the key to it would be to be putting Superman and Lex in a situation where their interests align. So, when I was kind of describing this the other day, it'd be like, okay, let's say Zod is the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Lex, being true to his character, can look at Superman and go, okay, I hate that alien, but at least this alien is pretending not to be taking over the world. I can work with that and I'll deal with him later.
Right.
Right now, this other alien, and I hate aliens, this other alien straight up wants to come and destroy my world. Or rule the world I should be ruling. That's my immediate problem. And apparently, Superman also thinks this guy's an immediate problem. Right now, our interests align.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think James Gunn is going to do, and this is just a pure guess, But I think they do the reverse of the standard trope, where in these types of things, you start off where these two guys fight each other, and then a bigger bad shows up and they work together. I think you do the reverse. I think you start off with a bigger bad showing up, and our hero and villain find out their interests align and say, okay, for now, let's take out Zod or Brainiac or Doomsday or Mongol or whoever you want to say it is. But then once that issue is dealt with, then they start fighting each other. So, yeah, I think you can absolutely have Lex and Superman in a situation where their interests align without it being a redemption arc for Lex. You don't do a redemption arc for Lex, but I don't think you need to. So I don't think they're going to set him up as some kind of anti-hero. All right, what's next?
David M says, hey, John, just got out of the new Alex Russell film Lurker, starring Theodore Pellerin and Twin List by James Sweeney. Can't highly recommend them both enough. And discovering indie films are a great benefit of A-List. AMC Disney Springs Orlando meetup.
We're definitely coming to Orlando. All right. I'll just leave it at that. I haven't announced dates or anything yet. But anyway, Twinless is one we talked about on the show because the trailer came out. And I was absolutely fascinated by that trailer. And I haven't had a chance to see it. To be honest with you, I totally forgot that it even came out yet. But I do want to see it because we talked about the trailer. But listen, one of the things I've said for years now that with all the different problems that I have with AMC, A-List is the single greatest thing to ever happen to movie fans. And one of the great benefits of A-List is you literally can now just go see you can go see a bunch of stuff you otherwise wouldn't have gone to see because you get to see it for free. I mean, once you've paid your monthly due, you can go see whatever, you can go see 16 movies a month. And if there was a movie you're a little bit on the fence about, you're like, well, I don't have to pay for it, so might as well go see it. It's like, seriously, I think if you are a film fan that lives anywhere near an AMC theater, with all the things that AMC does wrong, but honestly, A-List is the best thing out there. You owe it to yourself to get an AMC A-List membership, and it pays for itself in spades. All right, what's next?
Well, speaking of AMC, hey, John, your favorite CEO, Adam Aron, did an interview on The Town with Matthew Baloney podcast. It's an hour of pure insanity listening to him defend ads, prices, and charging based on seat location. It's worth a listen. I'd love your reaction.
You know what's funny? I'm picking up my phone here because I want to bring it up. Friend of mine, friend of the shows, you guys have seen him, gold medalist, Cody Miller, literally just texted me the other day and said, Matt Bellani's podcast with Adam Aron is definitely worth the listen. I genuinely found it very interesting. He was asked some hard questions and poked quite a bit. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I have not gotten around to watching or listening to this podcast yet. But I am going to do that. Ann and I leave for Albuquerque tomorrow for our movie meetup. So I'm going to have a lot of hours in the van that I'm going to be listening to stuff. And so I'll definitely give it a listen at that. But I have heard from other people that's quite an interesting interview. So I'll look forward to giving it a listen. All right, what's next?
Two-parter from Scooby Drool. Hi, John. Do you think Sony will make another attempt to bring the Sinister Six to the big screen, but with different actors, no actors from previous Spider-Man films? If there were 3 to 4 attempts to bring the Fantastic Four to the big screen, there will be another attempt to bring the Sinister Six to the big screen, but with different actors. But they sort of did that with No Way Home.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. Like, look, do I think we're going to see members of the Sinister Six again? Yes. Do I think Sony is going to take another crack at the can of doing Sinister Six? I think they've learned their lesson. I don't think they will. They've kind of gone a roundabout way of trying it a couple of times. That horrible post-credit scene of Morbius with Vulture with Michael Keaton. Oh my God, that was so bad. I really think they've learned. So do I think we'll see more characters? Yes. See new iterations of the characters? Yes. Do I think I see Sony trying to take another run at Sinister Six? I don't think so. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong about that, but you're asking me my guess. My guess is no. All right, what's next?
All right, keeping in mind these are 4 or 5 days old, so Joe Adonis says, "Hi, John. You said the San Francisco movie meetup is September 19th. I know it's a movie meetup. Would you consider a stage play meetup as Kim's Convenient Stage Plays?"
I think we answered this one already.
Oh, did you answer this? Because I don't remember ever reading this.
I think we did.
On Kim's
no,
Convenience?
well, not no. I'm a movie show, guys. I'm gonna go. It's a movie meetup, so I'm gonna. So no. Although I love the fact that they're doing a Kim's Convenience stage play. That's amazing. Kim's Convenience is awesome. If any of you have not watched the show, it's where Simu Liu got his start. It's amazing. I think it's one of the best shows I've ever seen. You should definitely go watch that. But no, it'll definitely be for movie theaters. All right, what's next?
Wade says, "I'm not saying they're all good films, but the Conjuring franchise is in fact the biggest franchise of all time, with earnings over $2.3 billion. I think he means horror franchise. Not to mention, it's in my top 3 favorite horror franchises of all time."
Yeah, I was gonna say $2.3 billion is nowhere near the biggest franchise of all time.
I mean, Spider-Man almost matched that on its own. So
yeah, horror franchise. I mean, that could be true. I mean, listen, if you put out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 10 movies,
yeah,
there's not a lot of horror franchises that have 10 movies. So you should be the biggest of all time.
Yeah, because certainly like Paranormal Activity did not make that kind of money.
No,
in that franchise.
No. So yeah, that could be conceivable that it is. It's funny though, talking about biggest franchises of all time when it only has like 1, 2, 3 that have made over 300 million. But yeah, I mean, it's a big franchise. And again, my God, what a bonkers opening for this new one. 84 million. Sorry. When the previous biggest one opening they had was 53. And that was The Nun all the way back in 2018 prior to the pandemic. And this thing makes 84. Are you kidding me? What an amazing win for them. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Garden Variety. John, while I don't have kids, I have many friends with kids that totally have to plan one movie a month to bring their 1 or 2 kids, and often only one parent, as the cost is just not in their budget. If multiple in a month, it totally impacts families. That's why we recommend A-List, and I do as a person with a family.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And look, again, the reality is there are people who just going to the grocery store to buy food is a stretch.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous in the richest continent in the world that happens. 100%. Of course there is. Movie going is a luxury. I'm not going to pretend it's not. It is. The point I often make, though, is that going to the movies is still cheaper than going to Carl's Jr. for lunch. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've been to any fast food restaurants lately, but it ain't no thing to go in and drop more than 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 bucks.
Not cheap. It's crazy.
At Carl's Jr. or Arby's or McDonald's or whatever. But so in as much as I often complain about the cost of going to the movies, it's just that the reality is it is still way cheaper than just about anything else you can do with your kids. Like, I mean, take your kids to the beach, take them out to the park.
Sure. Physical activities, whatever, outdoor activities.
But you want to take your kids to a thing?
Oh yeah. And don't get me started on theme parks. You're spending like for me, I'm a family of 5. It's like $1,000 to go. I'm like, how?
Yeah, which is why one of the mantras in my life is fuck Disneyland. Anyway, you're going to be hard pressed to come up with many things that are less expensive alternatives. Now, of course, you can start adding it up. I'm going to buy all the kids their own candies and their own popcorns and their own sodas. Yeah, absolutely. There's many different ways that you can start tallying up that price tag, 100%. But just going to the movies with your kids, I still stand by 100%. It is one of the absolute cheapest, inexpensive things in the world you can do with your kids. Again, other than take them to the park, go to the beach, of course, but it's one of the cheapest things out there. that you can possibly do. And if you want to keep the cost down, just buying tickets and going. Anyway. All right, what's next?
Dildar the Glorious says, how dumb do you have to be to say no to Spielberg? When he pitches you a movie, Activision was not smart for this. I would have watched the Call of Duty movie with him directing it.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know what he's talking about, there is and I need to reaffirm this, an unsubstantiated story going around that Steven Spielberg wanted to do Call of Duty. And Activision said no. There's a number of big caveats to put on that. Number one, I do not believe that story. I don't think anybody, if Steven Spielberg comes to them and says, I'll make your movie, I don't think there's anybody in the world that says no to that. So I don't believe the rumor. I don't believe it. However, let me play devil's advocate for a second. Part of the story going around, at least one of the iterations of that story, that Activision said no to Steven Spielberg. The guy who made Ready Player One and made Saving Private Ryan, and you don't want that guy making Call of Duty, the greatest filmmaker of all time? One of the manifestations of this rumor claims that Spielberg simply wanted too much. That Spielberg wanted absolute complete creative control. Spielberg wanted final cut. Spielberg wanted this and this and this and this and this. And that at the end of the day, Activision said, we're simply giving up way too much. The price tag of how much we have to give up of our control of our property, of the very nature, the soul of our property to somebody else. It's just too high of a price, even to get the greatest filmmaker of all time to come and do it. So number one, I don't believe the report. But playing devil's advocate, I could also see somebody like Activision saying no if this other made up part of the report of he wanted this whole laundry list of all complete control over everything that is Call of Duty. I could get Activision going, wait a minute, you want to totally take over our property and just cut us out? I could see them saying no to that, but it all depends on if you believe the report or not. All right, we got time for a couple more. What's next?
All right, we got a two-parter from another Tevin, but Tevin Brown. Hi, John and crew. Just want to send a chat to thank you. Been listening since AMC Movie Talk in high school in Florida.
Oh, thank you, man.
You're the one who told me about Netflix buying Albuquerque Studios. I ended up moving across country to Albuquerque for film. I've gotten to work on productions from as small as Nickelodeon to as big as Eddington and Oppenheimer.
Oh, nice.
I'm now 26 and met my fiance on set. We just welcomed a little girl to the world August 4th. Can't help but think how your show changed my life.
Well, I expect then you named your daughter John.
Uh-huh.
Right? I mean, that's the least you can do. Tell you what. Call her Giovanni.
There you go. Giovanna.
There you go. For those of you who don't know, my real name is Giovanni. Call her Giovanna. There you go. I fully expect that, there's, or at least give her the middle initial J. How about that? No, honestly, that's such a cool story. I love hearing that. That is such a wonderful, awesome story. Thank you for sharing that with us. Congratulations to getting into the industry, meeting your fiance. Man, it just sounds like life is good for you right now. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, dude. All right, what's next?
Chef Ian. Hey, John, I was recently on a flight and threw on Joyride because you always sing its praises. It was absolutely hilarious. However, the old lady next to me didn't appreciate the devil revealed during the K-pop scene. I don't blame her. She was probably jealous.
I'm not going to give away what that is, but it's one of the scene he is describing is honestly the hardest gasp laugh I may have ever had in a movie of all time. Joyride, again, it depends on your sensibilities. All comedy does. Comedy depends on your sensibilities. For me, Joyride is the single funniest movie I've seen. I haven't had a movie made me laugh that hard since The 40-Year-Old Virgin. I think it's wonderful. I'm glad you had a chance to check it out. And that scene is insane. All right, what's next?
We got Dark Side of Man. One of the biggest issues with the MCU has been, where was insert hero during insert event? With Gunn's DCU, I'm intrigued by a cinematic universe where at any time any hero can show up. What do you think about that? They can there too. And
that's actually one of my problems with cinematic universes, is that, and James Gunn's gonna have to be careful about this, because listen, there's very, very few problems that you can bring up in the DCU that Superman showing up couldn't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's always been one of my criticisms about shared cinematic universe. Why didn't Thor show up? Because it's not a Thor movie. Thor's doing other things. Thor busy. What was it that Ice Cube said in 21 Jump Street?
Oh,
Korean Jesus is busy or something like that. He busy or something. It's such a really funny line, the way Ice Cube delivered it. Yeah, I mean, I frankly don't want every single movie just to be DCU Part 1, DCU Part 2, DCU Part 3. I want to see some individual stories. And to me, as an audience member, it's the same as in the comic books. Why doesn't Professor X come and fix that problem in this issue of whatever? A telepath would have fixed it. Well, because it's not an X-Men comic book. So I don't know. I hope he finds a way, and it's a tricky wire to walk, but I really do hope he's able to find a way to make individual projects still feel like individual projects. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see what he's able to do. All right, what's next?
Dark Side of Man follows up. I've said for a while now that Jarhead is Flag Jr. In fact, I believe that will be how Peacemaker gets Flag Sr. off his case. I believe Flag Jr. will have lost his father in the other universe, and Peacemaker will reunite them. Thoughts? Maybe for some catharsis or something?
I mean, first of all, okay, in general, I don't mind the idea. Who's the actor again who plays Rick Flag? A junior who plays Rick Flag Jr.
Anyway,
I don't mind the idea of bringing Rick Flag Jr. back into the DCU. I know that would make Ray happy. Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah.
I think Marcus Y was the first one who said that in live chat. Joel Kinnaman. The problem is, that's a loser Rick Flag Jr. in that other universe. And if that other universe is indeed Earth X, he's a racist piece of shit, Rick Flag Jr. So I don't know if either of those things are the things the Frank Grillo Rick Flag Sr. wants. So I don't know. We'll have to wait. I cannot wait for the next episode, though. I'm dying for the next episode. All right, what's next?
Strapping Young Lad says Dexter was downright terrifying at some points in Dexter Resurrection. If I am what you think I am, then this can't possibly end well for you.
That was such a great line. I mean, I think a misstep by Dexter. There's a scene with Angel, and he's like, if I am what you think I am, this isn't going to end well for you. I think that was a little bit of a misstep for him to say it, but it was such a great line. I can't believe how good I thought Dexter Resurrection was. Even elements that I thought I wouldn't like, I ended up loving. Starting with Harrison. I hated Harrison in New Blood. And I didn't like him at first in Resurrection either, but that character eventually really started to grow on me. I didn't think I would like the lady cop, the one who always was listening to the Bee Gees. But I ended up loving the character. I really did. I thought there was by the end of the show, I just found the quirkiness of that character really appealing. And in the first episode, I thought it was kind of annoying. But by the end of it, I'm like, no, there's something really appealing about this character. And I kind of hope she comes back. So, yeah, I loved Resurrection. I thought it was fantastic. All right, what's next?
Montel says, hi, John. I'm a big fan from the UK, staying in Canada for 3 months.
Nice.
August through October. Plans so far is to stay in Toronto for TIFF, Montreal, Banff. Did you have any areas I should see or experience? I mean, if he's going as far west as Banff, he should go to Vancouver.
Yeah, you definitely should go and check out Vancouver. 100%. Go check out Vancouver. But I mean, I remember I was just talking to somebody the other day who was mentioning they're planning to go up to spend time in Canada. What should I do? And I know I'm Canadian, so I know this will sound biased, But anybody who's ever traveled there, Banff is the single most beautiful place on the planet. It just is.
Canadian Rockies.
Unless you like sand. If you're a desert and you're like Anakin and
or tropical, but
yeah. But it is just absolutely, just go look up pictures. Just go look up pictures on Google. It is the single most beautiful place on the planet.
Yeah. And a rare place you can just see grizzlies walking around, like
and like it's breathtaking. You get there, Lake St. Louis, stuff like that. Other things I would recommend. Obviously, Jonathan mentioned Vancouver. Toronto, I think, is the best city in the world, other than Hamilton. Hamilton's the best city in the world, but right next to it is its cousin Toronto. Montreal and Quebec City. If you can get into the province of Quebec, I spent some time traveling around Montreal and Quebec City. They're gorgeous, beautiful, especially if you can get into the old quarter where it feels like you're in the middle of a World War II movie. Not the war part, but like cobblestone streets and this beautiful old architecture. And it's just breathtaking and gorgeous and beautiful. And yeah, a lot of great places to see, but it sounds like you're nailing a couple of the good ones. All right, what's next?
We got Solid Crusader, who says, "Hi, John. Hi, John. Love from Virginia. A few weeks ago, there was a rumor that Alan Ritchson may join James Gunn's DCU, but not as Batman. My guess, he could be a good fit for Aquaman. Your thoughts? As for Batman, your thoughts on Jamie Dornan, Carl Urban, or Rich Madden?" We've gone through some of those names.
Yeah, we've gone over a bunch of those names.
Yeah.
As far as Alan, I do not like the Aquaman thing. That's too much of a gimmick because he was Aquaman in Smallville. I think that's too much of a gimmick. Plus, I don't see him as Aquaman. I really don't. But it's not just a rumor. I mean, Alan Ritchson said he has met with James Gunn, and he said, "I think you're going to see me in the DCU." But he said it's not going to be Batman. So it's not just a rumor. That was coming right out of Alan Ritchson's mouth. And we've spent time talking on the show about who it could be. I mean, look, there's a lot of different characters it could be. I don't like the Aquaman thing. It's too gimmicky. It's too much of a shtick because he was Aquaman in Smallville. So I'd like to stay away from that. I mean, I think he would make a great new Deathstroke. If it's not going to be Joe Manganiello, I could see him being a good Deathstroke. I could see him being KG Beast. I could see him being Hawkman, although he was already Hawk, with Hawk and Dove.
Right.
But really, it's a huge laundry list. I think he would be a great addition to the DCU, and if knowing James Gunn, he'll probably find something pretty quirky for him to do, and I'm all for it. All right, what's next?
Twilight Boy.
I
haven't heard from you in a while. It may not be the best show of the year, but I had a lot of fun with the paper. I was especially impressed with how much the characters grew on me as it went on. Stronger first season than The Office. Hopefully the momentum continues.
You know what? I since I'm in the habit right now of reading texts, I just got one yesterday. If I can find it. You know what? I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. But anyway, a friend of mine texted me yesterday. Oh, there we go. There we go. Talking about the paper. Said, I didn't laugh at anything in episodes 1 or 2. But the scene at the mattress store in episode 3 is the first time I thought it was really funny, and it's growing on him. Listen, Ann and I just recently watched the first 3 episodes. And I'm going to say this. Do I think it's great so far? No. But I see potential in it. You know why? Because I like the characters. Except for one. The Italian woman is irritating to me. As an Italian, the Italian woman completely irritates me. But I see the potential. Now, you're right. Listen, the first season of Parks and Rec didn't have its shit together yet. The first season of The Office didn't quite have its shit together yet. The Office didn't really become The Office, and Parks and Rec didn't really become Parks and Rec really until season 2. So, like I said, Ann and I are 3 episodes in. We plan on watching the rest of it. And I'm not going to say I find it hilarious yet or anything, but I got to admit, I do see potential in it. So I'm going to give it the rest of the first season. We'll see where it goes. All right, what's next?
Jake says, hey, John, JP is back. The Life is Strange show actually got greenlit after 9 years in development hell. While as a huge fan of the game, I want to be super excited. I don't know if this can be as good as the choice-based game. Thoughts from you?
I don't know who JP is, and I don't know.
I'm not familiar with the Life is Strange game.
I don't know the game at all. I do know Ray really likes the game. Ray really likes that one, but I'm really not familiar with, so I don't know who JP is, and I don't know really anything about the game other than to say is that if they are turning it into something, it is going to get its adaptation. I know Ray will be really happy about that. He'll be excited about it. All right, what's next?
We got Dildar the Glorious. I like how with the Penguin, they're building him up as the bigger problem over time, and it seems it will culminate into an all-out war with Sophia to take over Gotham. That Batman will have to take him seriously. Maybe in the third movie, it will lead to that.
Maybe, but Colin, we talked about this the other day. Colin Farrell was just saying that he doesn't even think they're going to do a season 2, and he only has a small role in the second movie. So I don't know. I'm going to be very curious to see where Christopher Reeve takes this new movie. Now, I get it. You build your story first, and the characters are there to serve the story. I get it, and I agree with that. It's just that I love the Penguin character so much. I want to see him play a bigger role, but we'll see what Matt Reeve has in mind and in store for that Penguin character as we move forward. But I would love to see more of them. I really would. All right, last question of the day. What's next?
We might want to take two just because we've already addressed this one from Stoner Watch.
Okay, let's take two then.
Yeah, it's about Activision and Spielberg, so we addressed that. But thank you for
read it.
Yeah, John, I saw an IGN post on Threads saying Steven Spielberg pitched Activision his idea for Call of Duty movie, and they said no and sold the rights to Paramount. Is this true?
Again, I don't think it is, but I don't have, let me be clear, I don't have any definitive information that it's not. There could be some truth to it. I don't believe it. If there is any truth to it, I have a feeling there's a lot of information, a lot of context that's not being included in it. And again, I think there's a devil's advocate scenario there where maybe Steven Spielberg just basically wanted everything, and Activision said, "Hey, that's too high of a price." Again, I don't really know, but I don't give it a lot of credence. But that's just me. All right, last one.
Okay, Pompey UK says, "Hey, John, episode 3 of Peacemaker. Wow, that action sequence for me didn't seem to fit in that perfect dimension. I was watching Peacemaker do his stuff, thinking." This won't end well. I have expected Harcourt to ask, what happened to your no-kill rule?
Oh, I don't get the feeling. I never got the feeling from anything in that universe that they have a no-kill rule.
Yeah.
Like they're like, there's no way they have no-kill rule. Look, I think we're going to find out that those guys, that organization that he was taking out might actually be the good guys. I don't know. We'll see. Again, the prominent theory right now is that universe is Earth X, which they touched on in the Arrowverse with their Crisis on Earth X, where basically it's a completely Nazi racist pieces of garbage that kind of took over the world. Like, I didn't even notice, because I was just paying attention to the story going on. But other people pointed out to me, they're absolutely right. It's like, in that quote-unquote perfect world, it's just all white people. It's like, huh.
Because they're just all so nice, but it's because, yeah.
Something bad happened there.
Yeah, there's something under the surface. They're not so nice.
Something bad has happened there. So I don't know. We'll see where they're
nice.
going with it. And all right, are there more questions, Jonathan?
Oh, we have a lot, and we'll get caught up through.
All right,
yeah.
we'll get more caught up tomorrow. But for now, guys, we're at the 2-hour mark, so that will do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Thanks to our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.